I want to greet Reverend Vicky, my friend, and the amazing pioneer of this ministry. She has also given me a platform. I would never have been to Ireland had it not been for her.
Amen.
So I honor her tonight for who she is and what she is doing. And for everyone else that's here, my desire is that you don't leave without taking something with you. As I say, if you do, it's your choice. Because every word that's spoken has life in it, and you can find something to take with you. My topic is discovering your true north. You know, the Raptors, they're called We the North. There is something about the north. Discovering your true north. Discovering your true north. What does it mean to discover your true north? True north is your oriented point. Your fixed point in a spinning world that helps you stay on track as a leader. It is derived from your most deeply held beliefs, values, and the principles that leads you. It is your internal compass, unique to you, representing who you are at your deepest level. Anybody ever heard that term before? The true north? No? So your true north is discovering ultimately who you are. From birth to death, there is something about you that stands out, that follows you around, that always defines who you are, and that is your true north. Another word that I can use to define your true north is your character. And the dictionary definition of character is the mental and moral qualities distinctive to an individual. The mental and moral qualities that are distinctive to you. That's your character. Did you know that there's no two people that are alike? No twins that are alike? Your character is your mental and moral qualities that are unique to you. You can also call it your personality. You can also call it integrity. Whatever you are in character, personality, and integrity, you can try all you want. You will never change. You are who you are from birth till death. What you need to do is develop that. Find your true north. Find out who you truly are and walk in that. In the banking world, or in the credit world, I should say, we use something that's called the 4 C's. It's called the 4 C's of credit. And whether you're applying for a credit card or a mortgage, you are judged by the 4 C's. And credit report, if you're applying for a car loan or a credit card or a loan, small things like that are generally adjudicated by a computer. They don't necessarily need a human intervention. You put some numbers in, how long you've been at your job. I know there's some bankers in the room, so call me out if I'm wrong. Put some numbers in the computer, how long you're at your job, how much you make. They generate your credit score, and if it's a certain number, you're approved. The computer will say you're approved. Most of the time for smaller things like that, there is no human intervention. And even if the computer declines you, it generally doesn't get overridden. Because the computer knows how to compute whether or not, it's good. So there are 4 C's that computer is taking into account. If you're applying for a mortgage, it's probably a little more human intervention. But the 4 C's are, number 1, character. So what are they looking for in terms of character? They're looking to see if you're trustworthy. Can they trust you to pay back this money? They're looking at credibility. Bank wants to lend to people that are responsible and keep their commitment. So how do they assess your character? This is why there will be times when an example would be someone makes $50,000 and you want a mortgage, they'll tell you that you qualify for only maybe $300,000 in mortgage. But someone who makes $100,000, they'll tell you that you qualify for $500,000. Because they're assessing your ability to repay. The next one is called capacity. So the first one is character, the second one is capacity. Capacity takes into account, can you afford to pay this back? If you're a person who every 6 months you have a new job, the bank don't want to have anything to do with that. If you're a person who is at your job for 20 years, and even if your credit is crappy, they'll be more likely to look at you. The next one is called capital. Capital has to do with, do you own anything? Do you have any skin in the game? So you want to buy a house, how much do you have to put down? Is your down payment 5%, 10%, 15%, 20%? That's your capital. You have some skin in the game. And the fourth one is collateral. So, you want $100,000 to borrow? We want something to hold on to secure our money. So that's collateral, and this is why when you buy a house, they register, the bank register their name against the house. So they own it until you pay it off. We all go around and say we own our houses. Nobody owns a house. Very few people. The bank owns it until you pay it off. So these are the things that people look at when you, in the credit world. They take into consideration your character, your capacity, your capital, and your collateral. Saying if you apply for a job, you go to an interview, what do you think they're looking at when you sit in front of them? They're assessing your character. They're assessing they're assessing so many things. Will this person stay with us? Are they a good fit? They're taking into consideration all the same things the bank takes into account. In a relationship, if you meet someone and you decide that you're going to form a relationship with that person, even as a friend, what do you look for? It's not every person that you meet you're going to form a relationship. Some people you don't even want them to have your phone number. Am I speaking the truth? Yes. You do look at character, don't you? Yes. These same principles are how you live your life, whether you believe it or not. That's how the bank judges you, and this is how society judges you. How is your character? I'm just going to play a video right now, and then we'll talk about it after.
I didn't see my not having arms as being a limitation.
Jessica Cox was born without arms due to a rare non-genetic birth defect, but this hasn't held her back from driving a car, gaining a black belt in Taekwondo, playing the piano, scuba diving, and becoming the world's first licensed armless pilot.
Naturally, people saw the fact that I didn't have arms as a limiting factor, but I was there to prove them wrong.
Now she travels the world as a motivational speaker with her husband, Patrick.
If I had to describe Jessica in 3 words, it would be kind, positive, and unstoppable.
Even as a child, having no arms proved no obstacle to Jessica.
As a young little girl, I was in just about everything. At 3, my mom had me in gymnastics. At 6, I started tap dance lessons. 10, I started Taekwondo. I did modeling. I swam starting at the age of 5. I did every activity you can imagine.
She tried wearing prosthetic arms from the ages of 3 to 14, but hasn't used them since.
There's nothing that can substitute the tactile ability of flesh and bone, and my feet have the tactile ability to feel whether something was hot or smooth or rough. And it was just a lot easier to be able to make those connections with the feeling my feet provided.
Despite her adventurous spirit, she had always been afraid of flying until she had a life-changing experience.
One day, a fighter pilot came up to me and he asked if I wanted to fly in a single-engine airplane. That idea wasn't something that I was too enthusiastic about, but he encouraged me, my dad encouraged me, and I gathered up my courage. I was sitting right beside the pilot and he asked if I wanted to experience putting my foot up on the yoke. And when I did, and I had a feel for what it was like to handle that airplane, I knew I wanted to become a pilot.
However, there were a number of challenges to overcome.
Who would teach me what type of airplane? Was this realistic? Would this be safe? Of course, the safe and realistic part I didn't even consider because I knew if I wanted to become a pilot, I was going to do everything I could. I had to find an airplane that had less controls than the average. So the Air Coupe airplane, which is a 1945, has 2 less rudder pedals on the floor. That way I could have my right foot on the yoke, my left foot on the throttle, and crisscross fly the airplane safely. The airplane was not customized in any way for me.
In 2008, her determination paid off when she became the first licensed armless pilot in the world.
3 years, 3 different airplanes, 3 different flight instructors, 80 hours of flying in 3 different states. I was a certified pilot. It was a long ordeal.
5 years ago, the 32-year-old met husband Patrick Chamberlain through their mutual love of Taekwondo.
I remember looking across the room and seeing him with this confused look on his face. He later told me it's because he thought I had arms and they were in my sweater. Patrick and I work as a team, but he loves to cook, but I do the dishes. We balance each other out in different ways.
Thank you. Good morning.
Together, they promote Jessica's motivational speaking, which she hopes will inspire others to overcome obstacles as she has.
And if there's something you want to do, don't let anything stop you. With that, we must be persistent. Think about the last time you said, I can't.
Patrick and I work together to be able to motivate people. He has a very crucial part of my presentation. I get to be the one in the spotlight and in front of everyone, but it would not happen if Patrick wasn't back there eliminating the challenges as a media tech and all-around manager.
We have some very interesting adventures on our travels. It's a constant adventure and it's a lot of fun.
And while children may be in their future, for now they plan to continue inspiring others.
If we did have a child without arms, we wouldn't hesitate because I've been able to live my life just fine without arms. As far as we know, it's not a genetic condition. We have many years to spend together and start a family. We've been talking about continuing to travel the world and bring the motivational speaking to other countries and help change some attitudes about disability.
What I take from this video is that she made choices. And in advancing your home and career, it's the choices you make. She made the choices she wanted to make. I love this particular picture because when I look at it, I see confidence. I see someone who believes in herself and believes in her decisions and believes that she can do just about anything. When I look at this picture, I also see courage. She did not limit herself. She's willing to take risks. She's willing to face her fears head on. She's willing to fail and keep trying. It took her 3 years in 3 different airplanes to get her pilot license. When I look at that picture, I also see character, her true north. She would not stop until she achieved whatever she wanted. She's traveled 57 countries. Her husband had to quit his job to travel with her because she became so busy. She has discovered her true north. She had no arms, but there is something driving her, something pushing her. That is something she was born with. A desire to succeed, a desire to take risks. Tonight, I'm going to ask you to do some soul searching. What is your true north? What is it that you've always wanted to do, but you're limiting yourself? Here is a woman without arms, but she's unstoppable. She is unstoppable. What's holding you back? What's holding you back? I think that video really speaks for itself. She has discovered her true north. Each and every one of us has a true north. Our true north, as I said earlier, is really our character. It reveals who we are, whether or not we're willing to take risks, whether or not we're willing to fight, we're willing to buckle in adversity. When things come your way, what do? Do you get up? Do you keep going? Do you persevere? Or do you just cry foul? Each of us have a true north. And each of us have that persevering spirit in us. For some people it's dormant because we listen to others tells us that we can't. We're in the wrong place with the wrong people. You're just not in an environment or circumstances that you feel you can explore. But each of us has a true north, and we need to find that true north. Ruth chapter 1, verse 16 and 17 is the story of Naomi and Ruth. These are two people that had everything. And they lost everything. Eventually lost everything. Their character was tested. When Naomi said to Ruth, "There is no reason for you to continue to hang around me. My son's gone, my husband's gone, we've lost everything. You're in your homeland. I'm going to leave. I'm going to go back to my people." Ruth and Naomi formed a bond. There must have been a reason why they bonded the way they did. They struggled together. They were together in the good times. When the bad times came, they struggled together. When Naomi wanted to leave, Ruth said, "I'm coming with you." Naomi tried to convince her, "No, don't come. You'll be better off here." Ruth decided, "Where you go, I will go." Together, they went. And things turned around. Take risks. Discover your true north. We all have a true north. Don't let anything hold you back. I'm going to close with this quote from Martin Luther King. It says, "If a man is called to be a street sweeper, he should sweep streets even as Michelangelo painted, or Beethoven composed music, or Shakespeare wrote poetry. He should sweep streets as well as all the hosts of heaven and earth will pause to say, 'Here lived a great street sweeper who did his job well.
Amen.
Whatever you find yourself doing, let it be a test of your character. Do it with everything you have. You know, Pastor Vicki, wherever she goes, even if she's not present, there are certain things about her that people will always talk about. You know it's her. Her women's ministry, she will not give up. No matter what, she will not quit. We can count on her that she will keep this ministry going. She has discovered her true north, where her place is, what she needs to fight for, and she will fight for it. So if it's friendship, if it's business, at your workplace, in every walk of life, discover your true north. Let your character stand out. Fight for what you want. Let your character lead and speak for you. God bless you.